Welcome to my YouTube channel, Curiosity Box. In this video I'm going to be really excited because my family's back. They're back, and my family's back, and we've got an amazing house that we live in. It's amazing and I love the house, but you'll understand what I mean when I do this review, which is of episode 1 of Being Human, series 3. Now, to start my Being Human background is that when they did the pilot season, they did a few pilots. Being Human was one of the pilots, and I automatically fell in love with it, and they became my family at the point when we all sat in the pub and the Hufflepuff exchange with the safety scissors and glitter. It was like, totally at home, and then my family straight away. And then, after I'd seen the pilot, which was absolutely brilliant, I signed the petition and wrote into the BBC along with many other fans, and eventually we heard the news that there's series 1 on the way, but there was a cast change to Annie and Mitchell, and at first I was like, oh no. It's like, but as soon as series 1 started, the first episode, I loved them straight away. And I've been with the series since the very beginning. I've been a fan, so I'm really excited that they're back. Now, series 1 was, if you haven't seen it before, series 1, it's a vampire, a werewolf and a ghost living in a house in Bristol, which is the tagline for series 1. The series 1 is all about their journey to accept who they are, and Annie gets her confidence and finds out what happened to her, and George accepts that being a werewolf is part of him. I don't really want to spoil the first 2 series for you, but obviously if you're watching this you're going to get spoiled anyway. But it is totally excellent. See, I like series 1 because I love series 1. Series 2, I loved a lot of that, but I was really scared because we were quite upset in series 2. Because in series 2 they're pursued. In series 1 they're accepting themselves as accepting their own sort of humanity or lack of humanity, and that they're seen as the monsters trying to live in humanity. As series 2 they're pursued by the human monsters, so our gang, our family, come across as more humane than the humans do in series 2. And that brings us to series 3. Now, I decided to do my TV reviews in the style of my Doctor Who reviews on my Who Ventures channel, because I really enjoy doing those and they seem to be quite popular, so I'm doing Being Human series 3 episode reviews in the same sort of style. So obviously I've made lots of notes. Now, first, I got this Mitchell picture for Christmas, and it's the best present ever, because from series 1 Mitchell appears in my dreams and my dream world, and his role in my dream world is that of guardian kind of thing and safety guy. When it gets a bit scary and a bit overwhelming, he turns up and I feel safe and comfortable. So he's my sort of dream guy, and I love this picture because it's sort of kind of a little bit fuzzy, so it's like and it sort of helps me to visualise him and sort of bring him into my dream world a lot more, which I had a couple of dreams the other week with him, so I love it. So now to a review of the actual episode. Now we've had to change, we've had to move, and I didn't want to move house because I love the old house, so it's cosy and everything. I don't want to move, but as soon as we walked into this house, it's like, oh, we've got to buy it. It is the most amazing house ever. It's my dream house. It's got that desert, that beach on one wall. It's a full beach on just one wall. I adore that. And then there's a reception desk. Oh, I love that bit with George. There's a reception desk. I've always wanted to play up with this because this house used to be a bed and breakfast, and it's still all decked out like that. And I love it. And I love it. As soon as we walked in, it was like, we've got to buy it. We've got to buy it. And then she's saying, oh, I could get some Polish builders. And Rebecca's like, no, don't decorate, don't decorate, don't decorate, please. We've got to have it. Now, a lot of people, it might be odd, but I get attached to objects in a sort of loving kind of way. I do really get attached to objects in a very loving kind of way. The green telephone, I adore a green telephone. I'd take that to bed and just hug it. So it's a green telephone and I love it, and it's got a piece of my heart straight away because I love the green telephone. I hope they don't make the green telephone scary, because please don't make it scary. But just, I love it. It's a green telephone. I love it. It's just, I love it. It's like a person. It's a green telephone and the reception desk and everything. I loved when George went into the basement. It was like, I love that bit. And then say what you see. It's all his catchphrase reaction. Neda's reaction to George is hilarious. I love that's very fresh and feel professional. I love that. And then Annie appeared and talking about how they're going to put her in this room and lock the door and burn the key, and then they're all crouched around their TV talking to Annie. And when the sales estate agent kind of lady, I liked how George turned around and said, well, oh, she's in Summer Maid. It's like, oh, that's a good save, George. And then she's talking about decorating. It's like, oh, don't decorate because I love this house already. I just love it. Totally am in love with the house, especially the green telephone. Now then we cut to the cafe scene, and there's Robson Green, it's a character, and his son Tom. I love the actor they've got to play Tom. He's really cool. I love how they've done the scars in his head. I think that looks amazing. And I really like that picture that was in between them with the architecture and the sort of people on. I noticed, like, when I watch stuff, I didn't just follow the plot, I notice all the little details as well. So that's what I make my notes on. But I love that picture in between them. I love it. And I liked how it looked like an old diner. And I like the statue next to the bonfire. I don't think it looks sort of as sort of vampire-ish historical as Bristol does. But it is, I do quite like it. I think that housing estate is a bit incongruous, but it sort of fits in with that being like modern humanity, and they've got to hide within, and that sort of makes it stand out even more that they're hiding from what is called humanity kind of thing, because it's a modern housing estate. I liked the statue next to the bonfire, that's good. I liked how they had that evolution sign and they framed it with Robson Green's character who's a werewolf. Evolution. That was just perfect, that. Evolution. Yeah. Perfect, that bit. I love that. And then we've got Paul Kaye's character, the vampires, and sort of the fight club with the putting the monsters in the cage, and I'm not sure about that fight club idea, because it has kind of been done a few times, like in Angel and in Torchwood. So I wasn't really keen on watching those bits, to be honest. I didn't really like that bit. I just didn't think it was that original, to be honest. I adore Nina and George's bed. It's awesome, and the dressing table and the wallpaper. I adore the colour of the bed cover and sexy Nina in the underwear. Oh, that was fun. And Mitchell bursts in and beams it. I'm surprised to give like little pink bows, because I thought I was little pink bows on Nina. I'm not sure. I thought she would have gone for, but it did look quite sexy too. That's funny when he got his glasses tangled in her hair, very wolfy hair. She looks really cute. I quite like that bit. There's a bit, and he's got glasses cut in it, and she's like, it's like, oh my god, she's wolfy. She's been wolfy. Yeah, that's sweet. I was quite scared about the video bit, because there's a bit in series 2 with Terry Wogan comes on, and that was like, oh no. Then I sort of had to turn that, because he was on a quiz show, and Terry suddenly starts talking to the viewer out of the TV, and I had that Terry Wogan quiz show on a few days after I'd seen the episodes, like, oh, I can't watch this is too scary. Like, ew, gosh. I liked how Nina now is sort of a team. It's George, Nina and Mitchell are all a team in the hospital now. So I assume they've been transferred and stuff to the new jobs. And I liked when Mitchell sort of hitched a lift with the guy to go through the door. I liked how they framed it, George and Mitchell. The crossword puzzle conversation was very funny. Mitchell's bedside manner needs work. I thought when the guy held Mitchell's hand, I thought that was really rather moving, and John's gonna guide him through, like, immediately I thought John the Baptist. I don't know whether that was their intention, that. And I thought that you did good, Sean. That was quite touching. And then Mitchell goes through the door, and he ends up in the corridor of doors and meets Leah. I wasn't quite sure at first, but Lacey Turner did an excellent job sort of building up the mystery. So the corridor of doors is like and goes through the door into his past. It's that bit like past life regression hypnotherapy, where they go down, you have to visualise the corridor of doors. I've not had it, so I don't know what it's like, but it seemed to me that must be what, like, sort of past life regression, or going back to your childhood must seem like, possibly. And so it goes through the door and he goes into his past and meets his victims. There was something on the wall that I saw, couldn't quite make it out. It's like M, then it's like EDL. I thought it said Bedlam on the wall, but I don't know, because I'm always looking for clues and everything, and I thought it said something possibly, but I wasn't quite sure. Then Annie was talking about guns with children cheering and a parade that they were getting Annie ready for, which is quite interesting. And then I loved the dark fairy tale music with George and his chicken getting ready to transform. The music was like just really dark fairy tale, excellent. And then we meet Bob, who's played by Kai Owen. Yes, it's like Kai. It's like, and he looks just like, and his outfit is like, it could have been Beast, could have been a crossover, but it was Kai, and yeah, I think, I hope that seriously seems to have attracted a lot of celebrities to want to be in Being Human, which is really cool, like it's getting support, but it sometimes it can jump out at you. It's like, oh it's him, oh it's him, oh look who it is, look who it is. It's jolts a little bit, but it was fun to see Kai Owen. And then it's like George accidentally gets arrested for dogging, but like after you've seen that other guy with Tom with the chicken, and he runs away, and then George accidentally gets mixed up with the dogging instance. It's like, and then puts him in a cell as like, and I wrote, don't eat Kai, don't eat Kai. It's like, no, because of no, don't eat Kai. And then we get back to Leah and Mitchell, and I love how Leah's like, oh, were you all hot and sweaty? He's like, oh, no. And did take shit off, and then said, no. It's like, but it's like, no. And it's like, actually, guitar. And then they're in the room where he killed one of his other victims, Sally. And there's a paper item which jumped out at me, paper item, and the books. I wonder if you zoomed in, there's anything on the books. I wonder if there's like loads of clues and you have to zoom in for everything. But there's a paper item on the dress table which caught my eye. And then this where I wrote about this sort of Angel Fight Club bit, and I wasn't keen on that bit. Then it says West Side. I was just trying to find meaning and everything. And then I thought it was going to be like, I like to really push it a bit further, because it was good in series 2 when George almost transformed in school. That was really tense bit, and I thought it was a good setup that he put George and Kai's character in the same cell. That was good. And then Nina comes along to like get George. And then eventually they find somewhere to change, and they say I love you to each other before they change. Well, that's oh so sweet. And like Nina boobies, juvenile bit there. But the transformation there's so much better than, because I've seen a bit of the US version and his transformation. I think Russell and Sinead do it so much better. They're so much better at it, and it's awesome. Then, oh my god, the next bit is the train and Mitchell, and they're all alive. Mitchell meets his victims from the train, and that's where we find out what H12 means. Leah was sat in seat H12 when Daisy and Mitchell massacred the train carriage. That's just, that's really intense, that scene, I felt. Especially Glenn waving and actually being smiley. It's like, oh. Then there's Mitchell, and eventually he owns his sins and admits that he's a monster. Then we find out that Mitchell's going to be killed by a werewolf, because the werewolf has to complete his journey by killing Mitchell, his or her journey by killing Mitchell. It's like, and then we switch to George after he's like been transformed, like the morning after, and I love Nina's loving that arse. I love that. And then that they actually shagged while they were wolves, while they were werewolves. That was kind of sweet. And then it's a bit, and then we go to Leah saying Annie's free to go, and we go back through to be with Mitchell instead. And then Annie asks, will I be back here someday? She said, yeah, but you'll go through a different door. It's like, boggle and pina coladas 24/7. Now, is that hell or heaven? I'm not sure. Boggle. And then I saw the arches in the bench, so it's like a church bench, so possibly with a cross and the arches. Thought that looked interesting. And then Annie and Mitchell are free on the outside, and she's sort of got a new dress kind of thing on, and that's really, really cute. And then it's like, we're in Wales, Barry Island, I'd rather go back to purgatory, says Annie. And I thought, and then we go home, and then we're in home, and Annie has this most incredibly amazing speech that totally sums up why I see them as my family. It's like, and straw hats. George and Nina have got straw hats on, and they're over to the beach scene, and I love that they've got straw hats. Yeah, and I've got and then and this is when I cried, because it's amazing, it's back, and I've already cried for episode 1. I get so lost in this stuff. And Annie's talking about she's since she died and found Mitchell and George, she's found humanity and lived more with Mitchell and George than before she died. And they talk about loyalty and courage, and how humanity is a state of mind, and that her family in this house is the enclave of the lost, where she sees the best, and outside the monsters prowl. That is just perfectly sums up what I feel, and why I feel so close to Mitchell, George, Annie, and now Nina, who's part of the family too. And that's why it means so much to me and touches my heart so much. That is a perfect speech. I want, we could put that on the poster, on the poster, and have that as artwork. It's perfect. I'd have that on a t-shirt or hoodie. Wear it. I love that. That's why it's so poignant and beautiful, and that's why I love them, and that's why I love our new house. And I love the new house. And then the next scene goes back to Robson Green's character after he's gone back to being human from being a werewolf, and his son comes in, stakes the vampire that captured them, and it's like, good on you lad, but don't you dare take Mitchell. So it's like, so I think the first episode is the most amazing episode. It is absolutely brilliant. I'm really pleased with it. I totally cried. Yeah, the most beautiful bit is Annie's speech when she's back in the house. That's incredible, and the green telephone, and I love the house. I just seriously, I'd just be a pain. I'd just all day I'd just like stand in front of that beach scene and go, I'm on holiday, I'm not, I'm on holiday, no I'm not, so I've got a holiday, yeah, straw hat, no not, straw hat, oh, putting straw hats and being on holiday, okay, back home, we're on holiday again. Oh, I love that wall, and I love the reception desk. Like, I'd totally play Fawlty Towers with George. I'd totally play Who Towers with George. I love the house. It's the best house ever. I love my family and the back, and Annie's back. I adore it. It's the house, and I love the house. So I hope you have enjoyed this review. I shall review every episode of this series, and also if we get the US version on an easily watchable format, I shall consider reviewing that as well. So I hope you have enjoyed this, and if I do get to see more of some of the US version, like or all of it, I'll do a compare and contrast about it as well. So I just really love Annie's speech. Totally, that's how it feels, the enclave of the lost, when all the monsters outside, and I love them, they're family, and they're precious, and they're totally precious to me, and I adore our new house from the get-go. I love it. So I hope you have enjoyed this video, and thank you for watching. Yay!